Welcome to a brand new episode of your favorite podcast, Soulfully Thorvi, with your host, Thorvi. I know I have been absent for some time, but that's because I was focusing on a big milestone in my life. In March, I published my first book called Into Minds: How Tarot Can Help You Decide. It was a dream that finally took 3D form. It called for a lot of dedication, focus, and hard work. But with a little guidance and encouragement, I finally managed to publish this work. The book is now available on Amazon.com and .co.in in both paperback and ebook. If any of you want an author-signed copy, feel free to drop me an email at connect@thorvidamle.com. That is connect@thorvidamle.com. This book, it's about decision making, how stress affects our decisions, what is decision fatigue, and how to counter it, and most importantly, what is tarot and how it can be a powerful tool in decision making. So please pick your copies, read, review, rate, and ask your friends and family to pick their copies too. You'll find all the details of the book on my website www.thorvidamle.com. That is www.thorvidamle.com. Coming to today's topic. What love is not. We all yearn for romantic love in life. Very few have found partners that reciprocate that love, and even fewer have experienced true, undemanding love. Love without the conditions applied at the corner of the page. Have you ever tried to understand, learn, and then teach or discuss what love should feel like? Most of us learned about love by watching movies, reading novels, or looking at TV series, and all of that showed us an elusive kind of love, one with loads of drama, emotion, and passion. I have not seen anyone discuss how love should feel with their children or at school. Teachers are only concerned that teenagers must not fall in love with their classmates, and hence try their best to move the focus away from topics of romantic love. Sex education is taught, but not love education. Most of society is concerned that children should not be misled into love and get abused or get taken advantage of. All these are valid concerns. But then no one is talking to these children or even young adults about what love should actually feel like. How to distinguish between infatuation and love. How to test these feelings in a safe space. How to know if it's an impulse or actual love. If we teach these basic dynamics of a romantic relationship to young adults, I truly believe we will create an empowered society with youth that is not wallowing in grief, but youth that creates strong families with value systems that strengthen the society and provide stability to our nations. I really wish we start looking at discussing, debating, talking, and making this a normal part of a daily conversation. Change the meaning of dating and move towards stable relationships and marriages that last. I may not know what true love is, but life has shown me what love is not. This topic today is an attempt to bring awareness to this fact, at least so that you can recognize how love should not feel like. Here's a disclaimer. All the statements or the experiences that I'm making here are coming from a non-judgmental and unbiased place from my heart. These are not absolute definite truths or statements. These are only indicators to help identify red flags and hopefully help people analyze a relationship before committing to it fully. These are drawn from my own experiences and the experiences of my friends, family, and clients. These are not to be taken as isolated one-off instances and copied. These are repetitive patterns to be observed in relationships. Now that that is clear, let's go to my list. Love never makes you feel unworthy or small or lesser in any shape or form. We are humans and we have habits or traits that need to be improved, but not by being yelled at, belittled, or ridiculed. If your romantic other constantly mocks your weaknesses, is being unhelpful to actually find a solution, and is being insensitive to your feelings, that is not love. Love is not gaslighting another's reality. Gaslighting means when a person denies your feelings and your reality itself. Let me give an example. If you were hurt by someone's actions and you're crying, imagine that the person tells you, "This is not something to cry about. You should not be feeling bad. Something is wrong with you for crying over this." So instead of apologizing, sitting next to you, holding you while you cry, or trying to understand why they hurt you, if someone is telling you that you are wrong to even feel sad, that is denying your reality. Feelings are just that, aren't they? They are supposed to be felt. No one can tell you that your reality is not real. At that point in time, if you are hurt, you are hurt and have every right to express your hurt. Constant gaslighting is not love. It is domination. Now, a person can be disappointed with you, but he or she cannot say, "Look, I don't love you anymore. Maybe I care for you." That is definitely not love. This statement is so ridiculous, and I've heard it when I went through my own divorce. It confused me to the very core. If someone suddenly stops loving you, it means this person never really loved you. Love is always present. It cannot be turned on or off based on external circumstances. See, people can part ways and still love each other. If you think you truly love someone, ask yourself if you will still love them when they are old, sick, broke, toothless, or homeless. Be honest with yourself and you will get your answer. We are all not Mother Teresa. We are normal human beings. So the idea here is not of universal love. That stuff is just way above our heads. So, as a normal person, just understand, love is not something that is on one day and off the next. If someone says, "I love you only when you get that high-paying job," or "I will love you only when you lose weight," or "I will love you only if you move to another city with me," that is not love. If you develop feelings for someone, a strong attraction, but then something about them turns it off suddenly, it is not love. It was only attraction. See, nothing wrong with only attraction, but having the clarity that it is not love will save you a lot of heartache. If you cannot have an uncomfortable conversation without the fear of losing that person, then again it is not love. As I stated, love cannot be turned on or off. It cannot be lost or gained. If you say that I cannot share this with my husband or wife because they will not understand me and they might leave me, then it is not love. No matter how serious the argument or misunderstanding or how big the fight, love is the ability to talk through the topic and be open to listening to the other person and working through it and finding a solution. If your husband says that his parents are more important because you came later into his life and his parents came first, that is definitely not love. You see, love is not a competition. It is not about tenure. Just because you know someone for 25-30 years does not make that love superior to someone you met just a year ago. Love is about prioritizing. If you prioritize your other half, automatically he or she will prioritize you, your parents, and heck, your entire extended family. So understand that. Love is about prioritizing. If the relationship is primarily physical and every time you meet, instead of having meaningful conversations, it is always about intimacy, it is not love. Intimacy is great and it is an essential part of a relationship. It can be exciting and all the happy hormones in the body will force you to always engage. But that cannot be the whole relationship. You may enjoy the intimacy and the chemistry might be mind-blowing, but that is not necessarily love. Love is effortless conversation. To enjoy each other's company just by sitting next to each other. To take interest in each other's life. To want to know more about each other's past, present, and future. To just be with each other, even without conversation, and feel loved is love. I can just go on and on talking about this topic. But these are a few pointers I hope have helped you to stop, think, and reassess your relationships. If you have been overbearing, dominating, and dismissive of your partner, now is the time to ask yourself and hopefully correct yourself. If you have been accepting bad behavior because you love your partner, time to stop and reassess. Have honest conversations. Seek couple counseling. Or, if it's really bad, decide to part ways. I remember a Bollywood movie named Fana, which means to be destroyed or lose one's existence itself. It's a love story about a blind woman finding true love, but the lover turns out to be a terrorist. I mean, it was somewhat of an extreme story. But that's it, no? Love does not mean destroying one's identity. We are taught just that, especially women and young girls. But if you destroy your identity in the name of love, there will only be one person left in that relationship. Physically, you may live together and be two other people, and you may compromise and be a couple. But in essence, that will be a lonely union for both parties. So your identity is crucial, even for a relationship to exist. If you take away anything from today's discussion, I would say stop understanding love with the help of movies, poems, dramas, or series. They're all fiction. Interview couples around you who you feel have a successful relationship. Ask them what they understand about love. Talk to people who have failed relationships and marriages and ask them what has that taught them. Listen to podcasts, interviews by psychologists and relationship coaches, and in the end, draw your own framework of what love is for you. Remember, you are human, so avoid any over-idealistic notions of love and sacrifice. Love exists only where self-respect exists, and only where your identity exists. Compassion, respect, patience, communication, kindness, space, non-judgmental, consistent, evolving, acceptance, support, faith, and trust are a few words I associate with love. It needs to be both ways. If you are lacking in any of these, you cannot complain about the other person, right? It reminds me of an incident from Mahabharata. Dhritarashtra got married to Gandhari. Dhritarashtra, as we all know, he was the king, but he was blind from birth. And what he expected from his wife was that finally he will have a partner who can see and who can help him rule, because she would be the eyes for him. But what did Gandhari decide to do? She was taught, as we are all taught, that she needs to follow what her husband has or how he behaves. So she decided to close her eyes, to tie her eyes shut and, be a part of her husband's life as another blind person. When he came to know of her decision, he got so angry because that is not what would have strengthened their relationship. And it's absolutely true. Now there were two blind people instead of one blind person. So this is where your identity and your existence in a relationship is of utmost importance. I would recommend you to read a small book. It's called Buddhist Bootcamp by Timber Hawkeye. He has explained really well about relationships, about mental health. He talks about a lot of good things, but I really found the relationship part very helpful. And it's a very small book, so you'll just enjoy reading it. One quote from the book really caught my eye. It says, "Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction." How beautiful is that? It's by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I hope I can pronounce his name correct, but I'm just going to read that quote again. Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction. It's really beautiful. All right. If you need help in understanding your current relationship or deciding on a marriage or separation, reach out to me at connect@thorvidamle.com. I am a decision coach and I've helped hundreds of individuals make decisions and understand their life situations with crystal clear clarity. I combine my management expertise with the psychic art of tarot to help you navigate life. You can also pick up my book, as I've already discussed. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. My handle is @Thorvi, Thorvi. Until next time, signing off. Your host, Thorvi. Stay safe and loads of love.